Thinking of moving to the Oklahoma City area, but you're about as familiar with the OKC layout as a baby is with lemons.
Did you want some lemon? What do you think?
Well, pucker up, we're about to jump into the map. All right, so here we go. We've got a basic map of the Oklahoma City Metro here right in front of us, and just a couple of key facts about Oklahoma City. In the Oklahoma City area, the metro wide, there is about 1.4 million people that live throughout the metro. And if you're looking at just Oklahoma City proper, it's closer to around 700,000. So this is a good picture of the metro as a whole. And I'm gonna go through and just kind of break some things down about the different areas and get you a little more familiarized with it. So, all right, so here we go. Just let's talk a little bit about the highway systems here. You can see this right here where the words Oklahoma City are. That's kind of representative of the general downtown area here. And so this is I-40 that goes east to west. And that's gonna go across the whole state here. But as we're looking at the Oklahoma City Metro, that kind of cuts right across where, right through downtown Oklahoma City, east to west. And then you've got I-35 here going north and south. Now, if you go all the way south, that's gonna take you down into Texas and into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which again is only about, I've said this on my channel before, but about 3 hours south of Oklahoma City. So really it's just a short day trip down there. But again, I-35 goes north and south, and it also kind of crosses where the intersection of I-35 and I-40 cross. That's pretty much the area of downtown Oklahoma City, right where you find the words Oklahoma City here. And so those are gonna be your two main highway systems right through the center of Oklahoma City. Now, this is I-44, and it also is a turnpike. It's known as the Turner Turnpike as it heads all the way out northeast to Tulsa. So as you can see here, Oklahoma City is about 90 minutes or close to 100 miles from Tulsa. So I have people all the time reach out to me on this channel, from this channel, and ask me, how close Tulsa is to Oklahoma City. It's about an hour and a half drive. So pretty close, but not close enough that, we would consider it a part of the metro. It's very much its own city, about 100 miles away or so. And so that is I-44 that takes you up there, which is a turnpike. And as it gets back into the city, you'll see that this 44 turns into a different turnpike. It's actually called the Kilpatrick Turnpike. Now, this turnpike, very useful if you're traveling around, especially around the west side of the metro and the north side of the metro here. So, and I think it's definitely worth getting the Pike Pass, which I'm gonna go ahead and leave a link in the description where you can grab that Pike Pass. If you're coming into the city to visit the areas, and let's say that we've had a conversation about me helping you buy homes here in the Oklahoma City area, I would love for you to come and visit with me. We can run around the metro and look at the homes in the areas you'd love to buy a home. With that said, I recommend getting that Pike Pass because it's a good chance we're gonna be traveling on that. And so this goes across east to west across the top of the metro. And you'll see that it veers south here, and it's gonna take you kind of all the way down to I-40. So we'll talk a little bit more about this west side of the metro and the areas that kind of runs through. But just keep in mind, that's a really useful turnpike here. Now, this is 77. It's also known as Broadway Extension. And that's gonna take you in and out of Edmond. We'll talk a little bit more about that suburb here in a little bit on the north side of the metro. But that's Broadway Extension, and it also turns into 235, eventually runs into 35, which is also right down here, but you'll see they kind of meet down here. So this Broadway Extension, or 235, takes you all the way up into Edmond, and is definitely a highway that you're gonna get on pretty often if you're on that side of the metro traveling from the Edmond area or the north side of the metro down to, let's say, downtown Oklahoma City. Now, other than that, you've got 240 right here that runs along the south side of the metro area, just south of Oklahoma City proper. And that, of course, goes east and west as well. So that's kind of generally The major highways, the only other one I'd mention would be Hefner Parkway right here, or 74. That runs right alongside, as you might guess, Lake Hefner, that I drive on quite a bit. And if you live here in that northwest quadrant of the city, chances are you're going to drive on that quite a bit as well. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the suburbs here. So obviously Oklahoma City, the city itself, is kind of right here centrally located in the metro. But you know, when looking throughout the popular areas that people want to ask about, one of the most popular areas in the Oklahoma City metro is definitely Edmond, Oklahoma. Now, Edmond is going to be located right here at the top of the Oklahoma City metro. It has a population of nearly 100,000 people, with I think right around 98,000 people. So it's a pretty big, small city of its own that's attached to the metro. And one of the things that really makes people attracted to Edmond, one of the many things, would be that they have some great schools there. So the schools there are definitely ranked amongst some of the highest in the entire state. Most of the New Home Source or the niche.com, greatschools.org, are going to give this an A+ school rating. So that's one of the reasons that it's very popular. It's also got all of its own shopping and dining that you could find. Very much its own self-sustaining city. There's also a university that's located there, actually a couple. There's the University of Central Oklahoma, and there's also Oklahoma Christian University located here in Edmond. Now, the median home price in Edmond is going to be a little higher than the median price average of Oklahoma City as a whole in the metro is around $260,000. The median home price in Edmond is really, it's actually closer to $350,000 or a little more. So a little more pricey to live in Edmond, but some of the most desirable schools. You've got Edmond school systems, and then out to the west side of Edmond, you've got Deer Creek, both very good school systems. So a little overview of Edmond there. Now, if you kind of run over here to the northwest quadrant of the metro, you've got Piedmont. And so that is pretty much a small town as you get here in the metro, very much small town vibes. Now you've got your basic suburban areas, of course, but I believe there's around 8,000 people living in Piedmont, and the median price point in Piedmont is right around $300,000. So again, a little more than the median price point across the metro, but some people really like that area because of its small town vibes. Now, what's there to do there? Well, of course, they're gonna have some of their own shopping and dining. For the most part, not a ton to do there like you might imagine in some small towns, but then again, that's what people love about living in areas like Piedmont or the kind of the smaller towns. Now, you're probably gonna have only about a 25-minute drive into downtown Oklahoma City. So it's a little ways out of the city, but not too far. So it's a good option for some people. A little more expensive than some of the other areas, but for some people, that's really worth it. Now, as we're heading down, south along that west side of the metro, you've got Yukon right here. Now, Yukon is, first off, home of Garth Brooks. It is just to the west side of the Oklahoma City metro, and it's got about 27,000 people there. So definitely bigger than Piedmont, but not a big town. But they certainly have plenty of their own shopping, restaurants, and those things. So it's really a self-sustaining little city, but still kind of carries that small town vibe out there. Now, the schools out there are also pretty good. In Yukon, Oklahoma, you've got a B+ school rating, and you're only about 20 to 25 minutes from Yukon into downtown Oklahoma City. So once again, still pretty accessible to the downtown area and pretty close to the outskirts of it. Now, the median home price in Yukon is right around $265,000. So you're gonna find it a little more affordable than Piedmont and definitely more affordable than Edmond. And some people really just like that kind of smaller town vibe with a little more affordable homes out there. So now, as we kind of head down south a little further from that, but still on the west side of the metro, is Mustang, Oklahoma. Now, the Mustang and Yukon area are often kind of spoken about together, but they are, just neighboring little cities. And Mustang is also a little bit smaller. Now, it's gonna be bigger than the Piedmont area. There's close to around 22,000 people there. Now Mustang is also going to have B+ schools there, and the median price point is very similar to Yukon at around $260,000. Now Mustang's got plenty of its own parks and shopping and dining as well. Now, one cool thing about Mustang that's kind of up and coming is here on the north side of the Mustang area, as we zoom in here, right where I-40 and this Kilpatrick Turnpike cross, there is the Mustang Creek Crossing. That is a really big commercial development that's coming here. They're even gonna have, amongst a bunch of shopping and restaurants that are gonna be in this area, they're building an amphitheater that's supposed to be completed by 2025. It's gonna be a really cool deal. So looking forward to that. Just something I wanted to mention on that side of the Metro is gonna be really cool and bring a ton of great concerts throughout the Oklahoma City Metro. All right, so maybe now we'll focus a little bit on Center City, Oklahoma City, right downtown, right here where the words Oklahoma City are conveniently here. As we zoom in, you're gonna see that you've got Bricktown right here, which is a really popular area in the downtown Oklahoma City area with lots of great restaurants and different shopping and dining, just entertainment options there. And then you've got Scissortail Park, which is a very popular newer park, city park, downtown Oklahoma City. And just to the north of that is the beautiful Myriad Gardens here, which both of those are worth checking out while you're visiting Oklahoma City for sure. Now, just a couple other things while we're downtown Oklahoma City. As you go a little further here to the north, you're gonna be in the Midtown area, and a little further up from that is gonna be Uptown. So yeah, that's just a little bit of an overview of the downtown Oklahoma City area. There's a lot more to see, of course, so I would definitely recommend that you go explore that area. Okay, so let's get a little closer into, still on this northwest side, but a little bit closer into the center of the Metro in the Village. Now, I just like to bring up the Village because it's actually where I've lived for the last 20 years. Still very much has the access right into Oklahoma City. In fact, the Oklahoma City limits are surrounding right around it. So this is Oklahoma City, this is Oklahoma City. The Village is just a small little city of 10,000 people. And what I love about the Village is you're kind of equidistant between being able to hop on this Broadway extension and hop right into Edmond, or you can hop right down there and go down to downtown Oklahoma City, and each are within about 15-minute drive. Now, another cool thing about the Village is you'll see that it's really close to Lake Hefner, and I'm gonna tell you guys right now, on this east side of the lake, walking across, or not across, you can't walk across the lake, I don't advise that. Walking down this east side of the lake, looking to the west is some of the best sunsets that you're gonna find in the Oklahoma City Metro. I promise you, you should absolutely check that out. So again, one of my favorite areas, but a little biased, I live here. Just to the south of here is Nichols Hills, which is a very affluent little neighborhood, but it's really its own little city too. And it's only about 4,000 people there. This is where you're gonna find a lot of your attorneys and medical professionals, surgeons, but it's also where some of the Thunder players have lived. Wes Welker, who is from here in the Oklahoma City Metro and of course played for the New England Patriots. He at one point lived there, so very affluent area just to the south of the Village. Really cool area around this area. So let's get a little further down to the south end of this Metro. You're gonna find Moore. Now, Moore is a very popular suburb of the Oklahoma City Metro. Again, just to the south of downtown Oklahoma City, right down I-35. Moore has around 62,000 people there. And, you know, people really just love that Moore is kind of right between Norman, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, and the Oklahoma City area. So you've got easy access, probably 12 to 15-minute drive into downtown Oklahoma City. But they've got a ton of really great parks, shopping. They've got, of course, all their own restaurants. One of the cool parks that's located in the Moore area is the Veterans Memorial Park. And they've also got this cool thing for those with kids and the family like to go to this place called Urban Air Trampoline Adventure Park. Very cool. I'll throw some images up on the screen for that, but it's really cool. You got to check it out. And aside from that, in Moore, you're gonna have some B+ schools out there too. So pretty good schools. Kind of everything you need is gonna be in Moore. Again, with 62,000 people. It's definitely not quite the size of Edmond. It's not the size of Norman, but it's gonna be bigger than the Yukon, the Mustangs. Now, while we're down here, let's go ahead and head down south to Norman, Oklahoma. You've probably heard of Norman, Oklahoma if you're a college football fan or college basketball, because that is where the University of Oklahoma is located. Now, Norman is very much its own city, still attached to the Oklahoma City Metro. And truthfully, it's kind of the area of the Metro that feels the least part of the Metro, but that's just kind of my personal feel of it. And some of that is because there's 123,000 people that live there. It's got its own little culture there, lots of great restaurants and shopping, but it's also got a really cool music scene there. They also have some cool festivals like the Norman Music Festival. And again, very much a part of the culture in Norman is the college town vibe there. So, and if you're ever gonna go watch an OU Sooners football game, obviously that's gonna be located in Norman here as well. So definitely a popular spot for people who wanna live close enough to the Metro. Now Norman is gonna be probably about 25 to 30-ish minutes, depending on what part of Norman you live in, into the downtown Oklahoma City area. But very cool city for some people who wanna live maybe not so much kind of really right in all of the things going on in Oklahoma City. I think we should probably head over here a little bit to on the east side of this. Now, you're gonna find Midwest City and Del City. I kind of lump those together. They're two separate cities, but as you can see, they're really neighboring communities here. And the population between both of those combined is around 80,000. Now, obviously they have separate populations of, I think, let's just say probably 60 and 20,000, but it's about 80,000 combined. And, you know, probably some of the least expensive homes you're gonna find are gonna be in that area. I think the median price point probably with those combined is somewhere around $165,000, $170,000. Now that is gonna be the area of the city where you're gonna find Tinker Air Force Base. So for those of you who are PCSing into Tinker Air Force Base as a member of the Air Force, first off, thank you for your service. But that's gonna be located right here, and likely you're gonna wanna live in Midwest City or Del City or one of those surrounding kind of areas if you're not living on base. So if you're PCSing to Tinker Air Force Base, give me a shout. I'd love to talk about helping you find a home if you're looking to live off base. Now, as we're kind of over on this side too, a little further to the east is Choctaw. Now, Choctaw is very much a small town. There's about 12,000 people there in Choctaw, and the median home price out there is a little above the average or median price point of the Oklahoma City Metro. Now, it's gonna be around 300,000 for that median price point, but usually you're gonna have a little bit bigger lots out there. And so again, not a ton going on for a small town of just around 12,000 people, but that's what people like about these smaller towns here in the Oklahoma City Metro. So if that's your thing, this is an option. You know, maybe you don't want to live in one of these areas on the west side like Piedmont, Yukon, and Mustang. You want that kind of smaller town vibe, maybe more akin to a Piedmont. Choctaw might be a good option for you. So give me a shout if that's something, as you're moving here to the Oklahoma City area, you think about Choctaw. Let's have a conversation. Now, that kind of wraps up kind of the main areas that I would, speak about in the Oklahoma City Metro. There's a ton of other kind of smaller and various, perhaps less popular suburbs. For instance, Bethany is right here on the west side of the Oklahoma City Metro. That's actually where I grew up. And there's a population of around 20,000 people there. It's close to Lake Overholser, a ton of parks surrounding that area. That's a cool area as well. Now, for some people who want to live a little bit further out, not in a bigger city of Norman, but a little to the west, like Newcastle. Newcastle is going to be another one of those kind of small towns, and it's going to feel like it. There's only about 10,000 people there, but again, some people love that small town vibe. They're still within half an hour of Oklahoma City. So anyway, I hope this gives you a vibe or just kind of an overall overview of the Oklahoma City Metro in a way you can take a look in the map. So if you've got any questions about certain areas in the Oklahoma City Metro, hit me in the comments, and of course you can reach out to me directly through a call, a text, or an email. I would love to have a conversation with you if you're thinking about moving to the Oklahoma City area. And otherwise, guys, thanks so much for watching this, and until next time, I certainly hope to see you soon. See ya.